On behalf of MMSIMERT, I welcome you all to the Union Budget 2016 analysis session by Mr. Chandrasekhar Tiller. Mr. Tiller is Senior Executive Vice President of National Securities Depository Limited. Mr. Tiller has handled various activities related to stock exchange settlements, surveillance, participant interface, marketing and corporate communications, risk management, investor relations, IS audit, business partner training, legal and attributions, till inspections, saving compliance, and issuer interface. Mr. Tiller has been previously associated with Insect Share and Stock Broking Limited as Vice President, Securities and Exchange Board of India, and with the Bombay Stock Exchange. He was also the inspection management, looking after the inspection of brokers' books, margin collection, implementation of SEBI and board decisions, disciplinary action committee, and defaulters committee. Mr. Tiller has published many books. Panchayat is the most famous book, which is currently in its 13th edition. Mr. Tiller has been honored by various awards and felicitations, which include CCOM Anand Bhandkamkar Award, Giants Award, United Western Bank Award, National Savings Organization Award, Kailash Bhai Mehta Seva Puraskar Award, Vocation Excellence Award by Rotary Club, and Excellence Award by Pumba. Mr. Tiller has been delivering lectures on annual budget presented by the central government since 1988. He has delivered 100 talks to various groups on social and political impact of global crisis on India. He has bagged 35 prizes in intercollegiate debating and elocution competitions. Mr. Tiller has delivered 1,975 lectures and published more than 1,700 articles on topics related to economics, finance, and investments. Mr. Tiller has also participated in many investment seminars, radio, and TV programs,
just said at that point of time, ढूंढो के अगर तो ही रास्ते मिलेंगे, मंजिल उनकी फितरत है, खुद चलकर नहीं आती. फितरत means attitude. And I did not tell you the meaning, importance, and ramifications of the word And if I arrange it, my 29-year-old married life associate, that is my wife, can certainly file a detailed affidavit how mischievous we both are, because she knows us very well. From that angle, if you look at this budget, certainly the most fish, one thing, massagist, receptionist, security, another thing, custody, teams and buses, another thing, coordination with airport, another thing. So virtually you per se you may call it as a transport, but it turns into a logistics. And if you are going to run it as an economic activity, just imagine what sort of a course you can have. While speaking on this particular point hardly 2 days back in one of the management institute, I jokingly say probably the day has come where we have to introduce another faculty in management, because we have management in finance, MBA in finance, MBA in HR, MBA in marketing. We don't have MBA in logistics in Maharashtra. The only institute use MBA in logistics is in Delhi. There is no MBA in sports management as far as Maharashtra is concerned. Only institute which gives MBA in sports management is in Calcutta. It's not coincidence that over 288 medals which you won in South Asian Games from 1992 to 2016, this particular practice has been few states have taken it very seriously. Few states have taken it run of the states which have taken it seriously can tell you where they are, and others tell the story on themselves where they are. I can cite an example because I am in touch with all these states as a part and parcel of NPS state, and virtually I am talking to each state secretary at least once a week, so I know it firsthand. Manipur, one of the smallest states of our country, who boasts only of 16 IAS officers. And you may be aware, you may not be aware, that how many IAS officers a particular state can have depends on the geographical size and the population of that particular state. Accordingly, Manipur can have only 16 IAS officers. Just for sake of comparison, where Manipur can have only 16 IAS officers, Maharashtra can have 388. Rajasthan can have 424. Uttar Pradesh can have 467. So it puts into the perspective the common word or most used word by management professionals. To put the things into perspective, you will see or visualize or realize how Manipur is a small state. But those 16 IAS officers who were associated with Manipur government in 1992, they decided that whatsoever the department I am handling, we will adopt 2 sports each. So 16 officers, 32 games, 2 sports each. The most important is the next one. They took help of the sports coach without any intervention from a ruling government or opposition party or bureaucracy. They give full freedom to those sports experts and ask them to conduct a competition right from the village level till the state capital body. Based on this, for every sport, they selected 2 sports persons. So 32 sports, 2 sports persons, that is 64 players, 32 coaches, 4 administrative staff. So for 100 persons, they built a sports training institute in flat 17 days. So such a thing does work in public works department even now. And next question is more important. That's what I am trying to emphasize. When you are going to make the sports as an industry or sports management as a profession, it's not an overnight game. You have to slog very hard, probably more than what the sports person has to do as far as honing his skill is concerned. Because managing the sport is much more lively and what I say, a multifaceted thing. To a very limited extent, we can compare this phenomena with the film Bhag Milkha, barring that Australia say, because I don't know whether it is provided in sports management or not. But other circumstances are equally like this. Many of you may be aware that Manipur is geographically situated that sun rises very early over there around about 3:30 in the morning. So what is happened is that government vehicles which have been given to these IAS officers go to those training institutes and the hostels, pick up those students at around about 4 o'clock in the morning. So by that time they have to be ready. They are taken to the centers up to 8 o'clock. This training goes on. At 8:30 they are brought back at the hostel because